What is up? Welcome to Etsy Jam episode 75. We've got some big announcements for you this week. We've just released a bunch of changes to Marmalead, and we're going to walk you step by step through all the updates. Just like Steve and Tyler, you're not going to miss a thing. Stay tuned for part 2 of this series, where we will do a deep dive into our biggest announcement, real Etsy shopper keyword search volume, and why it's the most important thing for your SEO as an Etsy seller. Stick around. What is up? Welcome to Etsy Jam, the podcast where we have citrusy conversations about serious topics. I am Gordon from Marmalead.
And I am Richie from Marmalead. If you don't yet know about Marmalead, well, it gets your products found with real shopper keywords. But that sounds a little different than last time. I don't know. What's up with that, Gordon? That can't possibly be right. What does this mean, real shopper keywords?
That's craziness, man. That's about as crazy as your attire today.
What? Real shoppers? I don't know. What does this mean, Gordon? What is different about Marmalead here?
We've got
something. A lot of stuff looks different.
A lot of stuff is different. Yeah. So we just had a big production release, and this is a big change. A lot of things have changed inside of Marmalead. It's probably our biggest change since we introduced the Marmameters way back in the day. Obviously, we pushed out a bunch of updates about a month ago for filtering and all kinds of fun stuff like that. But this is a really big change to kind of the core of what we're doing inside of Marmalead, and a bunch of other little changes all over the place. So today we're going to take a spin through those and start to really outline what those changes are and what they mean for you as a seller. Now, the one that Richie's just talking about right off of the bat is the biggest change of all of them, and that's that Marmalead is using data from real Etsy shoppers now. We're not really looking at listings that are coming back from Etsy, which can change drastically from search to search. We are looking at actual shopper data here, not keywords that sellers have already entered on their listings, not Google search volume masquerading as Etsy data. This is actual data from Etsy shoppers themselves, and it's pretty huge for us. So we're excited about it.
Yeah, the website says Marmalead is the only source of real Etsy search data, and it takes the guesswork out of getting found. So I guess no more using seller keywords. There should be a lot of people who are happy about that. I heard seller keywords, aren't very fun to use.
They're definitely getting harder and harder to use as Etsy makes changes going forward with personalized search, context-sensitive search results, and all that kind of stuff. You're going to have a really tough time using seller-based search keywords and trying to make sense of those in your SEO. The more that Etsy moves forward in that direction, it's a good thing, and we're definitely excited about it. But we also have
good thing Marmalead has those.
That's right, man. We've got a part 2 of this also. So part 1 of this jam, we're going to take you on a quick spin through all of the different updates that we have inside of Marmalead for you. Whether you've seen them or not, we're going to kind of give you a quick overview of what they all are and what they all mean. Then in part 2, we're actually going to do a deep dive into that shopper-based keyword data and what that means and why it's so important to you as a seller. So stick around for part 2 of this jam also, which will be released I think a week from now.
Unless you're listening to this late, and then it might already be released.
That's right. Then it's like,
it really depends.
Yeah, I don't know when it's coming out. No help for you there. But yeah.
All right. Without further ado, what kind of features are we talking about here?
Yeah, definitely. Let's do it. So we're going to take a spin through the site right now. We're going to start on the search page and work our way through all the different pages, and we're going to highlight every single one of the changes that have been released in this set of changes that we've just incorporated with the website. So the very first thing on the search page, when you do a search inside of Marmalead now, a keyword search, the very first thing on there is it shows Etsy searches. And we've kind of already talked about this one a little bit, and we're going to do a much deeper dive into this down the road. But what you're looking at there is the actual number of searches that Etsy sees for that one specific keyword, which we didn't have before. It was looking at kind of a mix of keywords and trying to guesstimate things, but it's specific searches for that keyword per month on Etsy. And so you see a range there for what that means. And of course, there's a handy little Marmameter that goes with it that shows you whether or not that is a good number or a low number.
And what that really means is, if that is really low, right? These Marmameters now look like cell phone bars, right? If you have full signal, awesome, they can hear you. If not, no one's there. No one's on the other end. Weak signal. So if there isn't really anything there, this is not a matter of whether or not Etsy can find listings to return, right? They're digging deep in the database. They're finding something to scrape back, to throw back in there. No, that's not what this is showing. This is showing, are people actually typing this into the Etsy search bar and looking for this keyword? Very important.
Yep. Great point. The next thing right next to that you'll notice in that same exact cell phone bar format of a Marmometer is engagement. Now, we had engagement before, but engagement has actually changed quite a bit too. We're no longer looking at the search results that you're seeing that are coming back from Etsy and trying to figure out if people are engaging with these listings or not. We have exact information now on Etsy shoppers and what they're clicking on for that specific keyword. Before, it was a bit of a guessing game. We'd look at the results that came back for the keyword, which obviously included many other keywords in them. And we tried to give you a good idea of, it looks like overall for this keyword, engagement is strong, or people aren't really engaging with this. But now with the new data that we have available to us and available to you through Marmalead, you can see exactly what number of people are clicking through and engaging with that specific keyword on Etsy.
So they're searching it and they're actually clicking a listing that brought them to the listing from that specific keyword, not the old way where you had to kind of guess. So, okay, it brought these listings back. They're on the front pages at this particular moment. So maybe the views came from this keyword. None of that. That's all in the past.
Good point. Yeah, we know exactly where these views are coming from, and we're sharing that with you.
Right. So no more of that false positive stuff. You know, if you've been following us for a while, we talked about the false positive. Everything from the old way of looking at engagement was there's a strong possibility that these views came from this keyword, or at least a good chunk of them.
Yeah.
But we didn't know, right? So it was something you had to try. And if it turned out to not be a good one, we called that a false positive. It was something you tried, something that looked good, but it didn't work out. Here, can't be a false positive because we know it actually came from that listing. Someone searched, someone clicked that listing from that keyword. That's really, really cool.
Moving along the next Marmometer, we're back to 3 Marmometers now. We were down to 2 for a while. So we've still got the competition Marmometer there, but this has changed a little bit in that we not only highlight it red when there are too many results, but it also goes red if there's too few results coming back for your keyword.
That's an important one, but a lot of people weren't picking up on that right off. So originally we were giving it a green if there were too few, and we just kind of learned from the questions that were coming back. People were using keywords. Well, it's kind of a combination of not having the real search data in the past, right? So it was looking like it might actually be a good one, even though there were so few. It's probably a lot less now, a lot less than an issue, given that if people are actually searching for it in mass, there's gonna be more. But nonetheless, it's very important. People like to see at least a full page of search results. More than that, they want to make sure people aren't typically pioneers in this regard when they're shopping online. They don't like to get into those dark corners where someone's cruising up and showing them a coat full of watches. Hey, you want to buy one of these? That's not typically where Etsy shoppers are hanging out. They are on Etsy because they're risk averse. Etsy has a lot of guarantees and stuff like that you're gonna have a good time. So if you have too few results that are coming back, shopper might be searching for it, but when they get there, they think, you know what, I'm in the wrong spot. This is a pretty bare shelf. I'm gonna type in something else and go somewhere where it looks a little bit more active. And that is why there's now a bottom level on competition.
Yep. And moving on then, we've got below the filters section on the search page, we have our high-level stats that we show there. We did a bit of housekeeping here and cleaned out a bunch of things that, before we were trying to show you good indicators of whether or not a keyword might be good, might not be good. All of the fuzziness has been removed from that section there, so you can rely completely on the search and engagement numbers up top to do that sort of information. But the new entry there, we've got a few new things. The first one is that we are showing you average renewal time for the keyword that you have just searched inside of Marmalead.
Yeah, that makes it defuzzes it a little bit, like you said, which is nice because renewing is recency, for that matter, is still a factor in Etsy's search. It's still a factor in the algorithm. So renewal is going to show you how long it's been since those top 4 listings for the keyword were created or renewed. And if they are more recent, then you have an idea of what that one factor of the algorithm is. If you want to boost your relevancy in there a little bit, be at or above that average of the average renewal. And then you've got that going in your favor. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that that's just do that and that's going to fix everything. You can let the other fall to crap, because that's not the case. But remember, all else being equal, if in the equation everything else is equal and you have less recency than the competitors, well, they're going to float to the top. It's just more information for you. Knowledge is power, and it's something that is easy enough to change. By the way, it's the kind of renewal that costs 20 cents. Yeah, it's kind of a pay to play thing that Etsy has. You renew and it's 20 cents, just like the original listing, and that gives you a bump in the recency that they see.
Yeah, if you're a seller who, doesn't like to pay that 20 cents to renew your listings very frequently or avoid that, now it's really easy to see that when you do a keyword search. You can see how frequently you would have to expect to renew your listings that are competing for that keyword in order to stay kind of somewhere around the top, so you can avoid the ones you don't want to use.
Yeah, if it says every month, if it says the average is a month, you don't have to do it daily to stay on top of that. And when I say on top, I mean, for just the recency.
So then right below those, we have changed the way that we're laying out prices. We no longer have a minimum, a median, and a maximum product price. We've now chunked this up into price ranges. And so we've got your bargain price range, your mid-range price range, and your premium price range shown in the highlight section.
Yeah, I really like this. This is a lot more useful than just seeing the minimum and the maximum, because those are just your extreme values. What you really need is to know how the shopper is going to be comparing these and understanding what's presented to them, right? So really, in its simplest terms, products are always going to fall into this this bargain zone, kind of a mid-range, average zone, and then a premium price zone. You can think of that way with cell phones, computers, cars, whatever it is, water, right? You're going to have the off-brand, kind of that middle brand, and then you've got your Fiji water or whatever, right? And each one of them has a shopper. All those companies are around, so they have a customer for them. And this just helps you identify, when a shopper is searching this keyword, what are they seeing in terms of these? Are there a lot of bargain price? What is the bargain price? What is the mid-range price? What is the premium price? If I'm planning on pricing at $20, where does that put me? Does that put me in the top of the premium price? Is that where I think I should be? Or maybe, I'm underpricing and I think I have a premium product, but according to this range, I'm actually in the bargain price, and we've talked about before, positioning with price does play a part.
That's a good point. Moving down to the sample listings table that comes back. So these are the keywords that Etsy is returning to us inside of Marmalead when you do a keyword search. Obviously, these could be different from listings that Etsy is returning to you as a shopper or your customers as a shopper or whatever, but these are the sample listings that they're returning to us for that keyword. And so we have removed some of the fluff from that section too that really can't be relied on as much anymore, and instead included some other bits of information that still are useful to you as a seller if you want to kind of take a glimpse at what the competitors in this keyword space are doing in general. So the first of those columns is a photo score, which will look across the set of listings that are coming back, and based on how many views and other information like that, try to get a good idea of what the score of that photo might be and how often it is compelling people to click on that listing and start engaging with that listing instead of a different one in the set of search results.
Yeah, something you mentioned as far as the sample listings. Even though Etsy is not returning in search a consistent set of first page results, second page results, etc., they have tens of thousands of listings that could come back for this keyword. They're going to cycle things through those pages. The next, 10 seconds later, you might hit refresh and they're going to be different listings in different order. But the thing that is going to hold them together is Etsy is going to use those first pages of real estate for listings that they think are doing something right. They're not going to hang out there, but they're going to get cycled through. And one of the things there, like you were just mentioning, is photo score. So something is going right with these photos because people are engaging with it. And that's why Etsy get to us in the in the set of samples, because they're saying, hey, this is a good fit. The only reason they're saying it's a good fit is because, hey, other people are clicking it. And if people are clicking it, you must have a decent photo, because that's the only thing that's attracting a shopper in a grid of listings is a decent photo. I shouldn't even say decent, a great photo, because these days decent is already below average. No one's just clicking good enough anymore. People want to be impressed by the photo. So the photo score is a fun tool. Let the computer help you figure out what photos shoppers seem to be liking. And you can look at that to get some inspiration for your own photos and think, okay, for this keyword, this type of photo seems to be doing well. They seem to like seeing faces in these, the context of how this product is used. Maybe just this product sitting on a table doesn't make a lot of sense. People kind of, cock their head and think, what the heck is going on there? But once you put it in context, actually in use, they're like, oh, okay, I can see that. I like that. I want that. Going to bring it home.
Right after that, we have a renewal. So that's basically what we were just talking about before in the high level stats, except you're looking at the renewal time for every single listing that's coming up in the sample listings. And then right after that, we've got a days to ship column. which is set for you as an Etsy seller inside of your processing days, inside of your listings. The Etsy gives you an option of specifying a minimum and maximum number of days for when a shopper would expect to receive your product.
No way around it. I mean, we live in an instant gratification society, right? Like if you shop online, you're doing so with an expectation or at least a comparison of getting things to you possibly even the same day, depending on where you're shopping. So days to ship, kind of matters. As soon as people pull out their credit card, they kind of want it right now. That's what made them hit the buy button, is they're imagining their life being better with this thing. So days to ship matters. And also shoppers can filter search results for listings that ship within 1 or within 3 business days. And Etsy says the buyers are more likely to buy products that ship quickly. I am not surprised because I definitely feel that way for myself. Now, I know that's not going to be a fit for all of our listeners, but that's okay because that's part of the days to ship piece of information. We're not saying, hey, everyone has to be able to ship within a day or 3 days. No, you just need to know that for this keyword, those sample listings, if it takes 3 days, and that's what everyone else is doing, and you're taking 2 weeks, shoppers are going to see that. But if everyone else is taking, 3 weeks and you're taking 2 weeks, well, then you're actually at an advantage. You didn't have to worry about, hitting the 1 day, 3 days or whatever. It's just giving you information to make sure that you're not behind in something like this, where the shopper has to think, oh, do I want to wait extra week? Even if you have an extra feature, different pricing.
We now interrupt your regularly scheduled broadcast to bring you your first Easter egg for March, which is Oliver with an orange.
Yep. And the next column up we've got is photos, which is just a straight number that shows you how many photos every single one of the sample listings is using on them. That's going to be a number from 0 to 10.
And photos is still not being used as part of the algorithm. Okay, I know that floats around here and there. People think it does, but it's not. Okay, it's not on Etsy's how to search work thing as of this recording, so it's not being used, but it's a sales factor. Okay, yes, it might not be a big deal right now if the rest of your competitors are using 3 photos and you're using 3 photos, right? The shopper has nothing else to compare against, really. They search this, they're clicking yours, they're clicking the other ones, and everyone has 3 photos, everything seems fine. But if everyone has 10 photos and you have 3, your listing is going to feel a little bit incomplete. Kind of like if everyone else had a description and you didn't have a description, people would be a little bit confused, like, where is this thing? Again, just, we're not saying, hey, go update 1,000 listings to have all 10 photos. Etsy would encourage that. But again, stay up to the market. If your market has 7 photos, have at least 7 photos. So you're at least up to that. If they have 3, have at least 3. If they have 10, have 10.
Yep. We've got at the bottom of the search page, we've got our popular tags table still. Again, we did some house cleaning in there and ripped out the stuff that doesn't really relate anymore and was kind of fuzzy anyway, and replaced it with more of the things that we've kind of already talked about in the highlights section and inside of the sample listings table. So we have a renewal column in there too, which is going to show you by tag how much the results for that matching tag are being renewed. It's going to show you an average number of days to ship for each of the items that come back that share any one of the tags in the popular tags table. And it's going to show you an average number of photos for each of those tags also. And then obviously still shows average price for each of the tag groups because that's still pretty relevant. Moving on to the My Listings section of Marmalead. Now that we have a real Etsy search number to share with you and a real Etsy engagement number to share with you, you can bet we've included that inside of your listing grades page also. So when you come into your listing grades, your high-level grade is now accounting for these things. And there are 2 new progress bars in there. Well, 1 new one for Etsy keyword search volume. And the second keyword, the second one has been switched to Etsy keyword engagement. Instead of just kind of the fuzzy engagement that we were talking about that we did before, we now have exact engagement numbers for both of those, which are being scored on your listing.
And as far as, affecting those, how do you make them go up or down? Well, targeting keywords with high search volume or, high engagement is going to lower those bars or, the respective bar, while targeting keywords with low search volume or engagement is therefore going to lower those bars. As far as keyword searches are concerned, the more highly searched keywords you target, the more likely your listings are to show up in a shopper's screen because there are just that many more shoppers searching for it. So as the cycle goes on, more and more people, you have a chance to be on somebody's screen. This is all a numbers game, right? Especially with 1 to 3% conversion rates or whatnot online. Maybe I should say like 1 to 5, but nonetheless, I mean, 5% even on the high end, right? The more people you get on their screens, the more chances you are of getting a sale, which is of course what you're here for. And then of course, the more keywords you target that have higher engagement, the more likely you are not to just to be shown up on their screen, but that they're actually going to be engaged with, such as clicked, liked, favorited, or better yet, purchased by shoppers.
If you haven't been in Marmalead for a while, you might see that the SEO and the sales tip are new to you. Those have been around for about a month, maybe a month and a half. It's just a quick way of seeing something that you could make a change to this listing to improve its SEO, and then something that you could change on this listing to improve your sales prospects from this as well. Move down to the tags table at the bottom of your listing detail page, which will show you all of the tags you're using on that listing. We've removed a bunch of the fuzziness from that table too, kind of like the ones on the search results page that we had before. We still show you your title strength for any given keyword and how strongly you're targeting that keyword based on where it falls in your title. But now we show you very clearly, and with more information even, your searches, your engagement, and your results for every single one of those keywords and what that looks like. So instead of, before we showed you the Marma meters for those things, now we actually show you the search ranges for how many searches per month each of those keywords sees, and the number of views per month that keyword sees as well for engagement. All right, so the next section of the website is Storm, very powerful tool for helping you brainstorm new keywords. The big update here, obviously we're showing you all three Marma meters so you can see search, engagement, and competition, but the really big change to Storm is that it's now smarter. So when you type in a keyword, when you select a keyword to add to your bucket to keep, it's going to be showing you much more relevant keywords coming back in your list of suggestions than it was before, which is a good thing.
Smart is a good thing.
Now, if we head back over to the comparison section here, this is going to be, this has been updated also to kind of reflect those same changes that you'll see and that we talked about on the keyword search page. So the look and feel of the Marma meters has been updated to give you a little bit better picture of the performance of each one of the meters. Still using the colors. We're using the bars now though, right? And we've got ranges for you on each one of those Marma meters. And we also break down comparison. Instead of bars that we showed before of like a bar type thing where you typed in the different things to show you price breakdown, it now shows you your price ranges. So it'll show you that same information about the bargain price range, the mid-range price range, and the premium price range for any of the keywords that you've entered inside of comparison. And we've also included average renewal time inside of comparison too, so that if that is one of the deciding factors for you as an Etsy seller when you're picking keywords and you want to be aware of how frequently you would have to be renewing your listings to stay toward the top, you can really easily see that when you're comparing multiple keywords inside of compare.
And if you're selling soap, then that average renewal is 3.5 hours.
There you go. It's funny that you picked soap because the sample one that I'm looking at right here now, for my comparison, I picked organic soap, homemade soap, handmade soap, and vegan soap.
Very nice.
Yeah, that was my go-to comparison. Good brain connection there.
I'd say so. This is good. You know, what's funny is one of the top, I mean, maybe this isn't funny. Someone's going to be listening to this and say, that's not funny at all. It's serious. But soap, one of the top tags, number 5, is actually party favors. I didn't know that handing out soap was a party favor.
Yeah.
We have kids, and that could actually make a lot of sense because after a party with a bunch of kids, little toddler-sized kids, they tend to be pretty sticky and needed some soap.
Yeah. All right, son, we're gonna have your friends over for a party because they're getting kind of stinky, and we're gonna help them out a little bit.
There you go. Whatever works.
That's interesting.
Yeah, party favors.
I'll have to remember that next time we have a party. I'll be like, why not soap?
You guys are going to give them candy. Candy, they're going to go all sticky.
Well, that's true. So, and sometimes with party favors, it's like a little kind of like little random throwaway plastic toy or whatever. You know, it's like, come on. I get that you're trying to be nice and nice gesture here, but this is just going to be cluttering around my house. So something you can actually use, like soap, is kind of cool.
Yeah. So if you sell soap as party favors, write us in at success@marmalead.com and let us know about it.
Yeah. You probably have some good stories. Next up after soap is the popular searches page. So this used to be trending tags. Now we're looking at popular searches. So now that we have access to this awesome Etsy search information, we wanted to share that back in the best way possible, which is just showing you straight up what are the most popular searches that we're seeing on Etsy right now. We break this up in 3 different ways. It used to be just one top 10 list of trending tags. We've actually got 3 lists for you now on this page. So we've got a yesterday list, which shows you the most popular searches yesterday. Then we've got a list for the most popular searches last week on Etsy. And then we've got a 3rd list for the most popular searches last month on Etsy. And again, these are just straight from Etsy. These aren't looking at, Google keyword, Yahoo, Bing keyword counts and trying to back into what the data might look like for Etsy. This is actual Etsy shopper data, which is fantastic.
Very good.
Yeah.
But we need to end it now.
We do need to end it. And there is one thing that I forgot to include. I got so carried away when we were doing the search page before, right? And I was scrolling all the way down to the bottom of the page. I forgot to go over to the top right of that page where we have similar shopper searches on Etsy section. Now, if you're a Marmaleader from before, you remember that we used to show similar searches over here, but those came from Bing. And so we would look at the keyword that you typed in. We'd go out to Bing and say, hey, what are similar keywords that people search when they search this? We're not doing that anymore. We're not looking at Bing keywords. We're looking at Etsy shopper keywords over there too. And next to each one, you will see your trusty Marma meters so that you can avoid spending time clicking the keywords that don't look like they would be doing too well and checking out the ones that look like they are doing better.
And since it's not coming from Bing, you're not going to see Walmart as a keyword in there anymore. People have asked about that. They've said, well, why am I going to use soap from Walmart or something like that as a keyword? Well, I didn't expect you to, but now you won't see it because these are similar searches on Etsy. Not from Bing.
Yeah.
They are not the same. And if you're wondering if they're the same, then why is Bing showing you Walmart in there?
Yes. Why would Bing show anyone Walmart? I don't even know. Even if I shopped at Walmart, I wouldn't want to see that. It would just be a painful reminder. So one of the things that this is helpful for if you're an Etsy seller is kind of like understanding how to niche down in different areas. So if you have a keyword that's kind of generic, and you're looking for ideas on ways that Etsy shoppers might be including this keyword in more specific ways, this section usually does a pretty good job of returning more specific examples or alternate examples of the keyword that you typed in. So feel free to play around as you do your searches and look through those for suggestions, just as you would use Storm.
So another fun place to get some real Etsy search suggestions.
Boom.
Very nice.
Yeah. And that's it. That's all of the new updates that we had in this round of changes. So quite a few to go through there. Hopefully those made sense. We kind of went through them pretty quickly. But we will be back in the next Etsy Jam.
What if they don't make sense?
If they don't make sense, email Richie.
Where can I find out what these mean? Oh, really? Where can I find out what these mean, Gordon? Do these little question marks on the screen help us in any way, shape, or form?
Yeah, that's a good point. So inside of Marmalead, as we have had before, our tooltips, you can mouse over any of the question marks inside of Marmalead for a little quick, concise description about what any one of these things on the screen is. If you go to marmalead.com/help, you'll find our knowledge base over there, and there'll be more information about any one of the things if you want to search for it over there. You can also email us at success@marmalead.com. There's a whole slew of ways you can find more information about all of these updates. And of course, since this is a jam, we'll be posting it on our blog and linking over to probably another one of our support pages there that talks about these features in greater detail.
Sounds like there's a lot of ways to find out more
there's
information.
There's a lot of ways.
That's pretty good.
Yes. Exactly.
I like it.
Yeah. I should mention, too, that this is the first jam of March. And so our Easter egg hunt for the month of February is now over. So if you listened to the jams or watched the jams in February and you took note of what those Easter eggs were, now is the time to send those in to us because the lucky winner will win a pretty cool prize for the month of February. We'll be starting a whole nother set of Easter eggs for the month of March. So stay tuned to this jam and the next one and the one after that to try to pick out those Easter eggs and your own chance of winning a cool prize.
Where do they send it in to?
success@marmalead.com.
Can you spell that?
SUCCESS. How's that? Did I do it right? I'll let you do that.
That was good. At MARMALEAD.com.
There you go. And we will be back next week with a follow-up jam to this one where we're going to really do a deep dive into the search data Etsy shopper search data, what that means for you as an Etsy seller, why it's so important, and how you can maximize the way that you're using that in your keyword decision making to make sure that you're picking the absolutely most relevant, searched, and engaged keywords on Etsy. So that's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Sounds like a whole new world out there, Gordon.
It is. It is, man. It's exciting stuff. We will catch you guys next time on Etsy Jam.